President Zelensky of Ukraine sits down for an interview and tells the media that the war will end faster under Trump and that he has faith in Donald Trump. Go figure. That's what happens when adults are in control and project strength and leadership, unlike Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who are total jokes. Let's jump into the video.
Zelensky is optimistic about the future with President-elect Trump returning to the White House. Here he is.
І ще раз підкреслюю, з політикою цієї команди, яка зараз очолить Білий дім, війна закінчиться швидше. Це їх підхід, це
Can you imagine being Joe Biden? You just gave this man like $300 trillion and every weapon you can think of. And he's like, I have faith in Trump. Thanks, but I'll take Trump. Trump can make a phone call and end the war. Biden has to sell the entire country out, put our children's children in debt to pay for it, hand Zelensky over every weapon that America's ever created, and Donald Trump could just pick up the phone and be like, listen, Putin, cut the you-know-what, or you're going to have a real problem. Okay, President Trump, it will stop immediately. Thank you. Thank you for becoming president. Maybe can we have lunch? Thank you.
їх обіцянка їх суспільству. І для них це також дуже важливо.
Wall Street Journal editorial board writes, left unsaid by the White House is that Mr. Biden is trying to strengthen Ukraine's position before he leaves office. Mr. Biden would like to fortify Ukraine by delivering all of the munitions Congress approved in its most recent aid package. The tragedy is that Mr. Biden has hamstrung Ukraine on the delivery and the usage of advanced weapons for so long. In focus now, Mike Huckabee, former Arkansas governor and the Trump administration ambassador to Israel nominee. Great to see you. Let's start right now with this idea that Biden's about to do this as he leaves office. And what does that mean for incoming policy? And that affects the whole world.
It really does, Harris. It's a little unusual that a president in his lame duck days of ending his reign as president would make major policy shifts. It just doesn't really ring as to why would he.
Oh, why? Because he wants... You know why? Because he's so old and doesn't give an F and didn't get what he wants, and Jill has him in the basement. You know what, Joe? Just push the button. Just start a nuclear war. F them all. We didn't get what we want. Screw it. Just let the whole world explode. That's exactly what's going on. Why would Biden allow Ukraine to use U.S. missiles 2 months before Trump takes office, other than to cause World War III and put all our lives in danger? You know what? I'm so tired of hearing from Democrats that Joe Biden is a decent man. You know, Sleepy Joe, who took showers with his daughter till she was 21 years of age. How do I know that? Because that's what she wrote in her journal. Hunter Biden sleeps with his dead brother's wife. And don't forget Jill propping up Joe like Weekend at Bernie's, telling everybody that he's coherent. But hey, he didn't win. He's on his way out the door. Who gives a F? Push the nuke button and you know what to everybody.
He do this? Is it to somehow hamstring or make it difficult for the Trump administration? I don't know. But it's not a good look, and it's not a good act on his part. And I'm hoping that maybe he'll back off. If he does anything, he should find out what the Trump administration...
Huckabee, for you to get on Fox News and you say that you don't know why Joe Biden would do that, you deserve to be fired. Anybody with a brain knows that Joe Biden is evil. He only cares about himself, his family, the Biden crime family, putting as much money in his pockets as he can, causing as much chaos as he can. Look at the last 4 years. Nothing but chaos. Oh, you thought he was just going to hand the reins over to Trump nicely and be like, hey, Donald, thanks for, thanks for everything. Thanks for taking the presidency away from me. Oh, no. Jill and Joe are not going for that. They'd rather see a nuclear war.
Will be doing, and try to make sure that he helps accommodate that. That's what we would have in what I would call a peaceful and also a smooth transition.
Oh, interesting. So, Biden had the president-elect over to the White House last week. They spent like almost 2 hours together. And the length of that meeting alone would lead you to think that maybe this came up. This action was decisive by Biden. Make no mistake about it. And this is what needed to have from generals and other military experts that you and I both talked to. This is what needed to happen in the early days against Russia, not 1,000 days later. So legacy point. Is it that? And what does this do for Biden? Because I have to think that's at play here.
It very well could be and probably is. But I again go to the point that
Biden, that's his big F you to everybody, and I'm going to cause as much trouble. I'm going to be a vindictive old psychopath who's mad that he was pushed out to run for president by his own party. It's a F you on his way out the door so he can cause chaos. I mean, come on, Fox News. Come on.
We don't need to have a major policy shift right now about a month and a half before President Trump is sworn in, and then turn around and have a different policy shift as soon as the inauguration is over. There needs to be some consistency and continuity. I hope that if they did talk about it, that this is all in line with that. I wasn't privy to that conversation. I thought it was a good conversation. And the fact that they spent that much time together in a very civil manner was, to me, a great testament for going forward. But I do have great concerns.
Here, let me tell you what Joe said. You know, Don, you're a real hard SOB to kill. We've tried multiple times, and we just couldn't get your AS, you know what. Conversation must have went lovely. You know, sorry for calling you Hitler for the last 4 years, saying you're a threat to democracy, calling you every name that you could think of, but I really like you, Don. You're a hard SOB to kill.
That something might be done either here or at the UN that would make it more difficult for President Trump to get going on his agenda.
Yeah, it sounds like those Democrat governors across the United States. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show, but yeah, there's a lot of pushback, anti-Trump still moving. And Israeli strike, missile strike in Beirut against Hezbollah terrorists perpetrating as a military for Lebanon, happened on Sunday and killed the terror group's spokesman.
Oh, well, see ya.
On Friday, another Israeli airstrike destroyed a high-rise building in Beirut. This comes as Israel continues to step up its fight against Hezbollah. A new opinion piece says, quote, as he heads for the exit, President Biden is easing sanctions on Hamas and Hezbollah while sanctioning Jews in Israel under pressure from Israel, bashing
what else
critics.
Would you expect?
A president who stood firm.
Joe Biden easing sanctions on Hamas, a terrorist group who thought their best course of action was to sexually assault and murder men, women, kids, you name it. And Joe Biden eases up on them. He's just a disgrace. Joe Biden is an absolute vicious, vile, disgusting, vindictive, corrupt man. And don't worry, Joe, you're going to meet God, and you are going to hell.
Behind Israel after the October 7th massacre seems to have lost his moral compass. A separate opinion piece here.
He's never had it.
President Biden doesn't grasp this. While he provided support, he also tried to limit Israel's independence. Every step of the way, he has micromanaged Israel and tried to leverage a patron-client relationship. President Biden said this earlier, just in the last little bit.
Israel has the right to defend itself after the worst massacre of the Jews since the Holocaust. But how it defends itself, even as Hamas cruelty hides among civilians, matters a great deal. The United States has led the world in humanitarian aid to Gaza. And we're going to keep pushing to accelerate a ceasefire deal that ensures Israel's security, but brings hostages home and ends the suffering of the Palestinian people and children.
The first part of that, Governor Huckabee, Israel has the right to defend itself, but, and then the rest of what he said. So you're the nominee for the UN ambassador for the United States at the UN for Israel. Do you and President-elect Trump see it the way Biden sees it, or how different will it be? Because you're right, this triggers yet another policy shift, or maybe not, but it looks like one right before Trump takes over.
Well, I haven't been confirmed by the Senate, so I want to be real careful that
You're
I'm not speaking with some level of officialdom. But what we've had is a schizophrenic policy toward Israel. We've put far more pressure with Joe Biden on Israel than we have on Hamas, Hezbollah, and most importantly, the people who write those checks, the Iranians. Why haven't we put pressure on them? And I keep hearing about ceasefire. We can have a ceasefire right now. We could have had it on October the 8th.
Huckabee, do you need to be fired? Why? Because Joe Biden's corrupt. That's why. He gave trillions of dollars to Iran, and Iran funds Hamas. And he should be brought up on treason. But hey, let's pretend like we don't know why Joe Biden does the things that he does, because he's corrupt, vile, communist, that is an absolute despicable human being. That's why he does the things that he does.
Hamas lays down its arms, gives up its bombs, bullets, rockets, and stops killing Jews.
Hostages.
That's the ceasefire. Yeah, and lets the hostages, 7 American hostages, Harris, why haven't they been released? Why hasn't this administration put more pressure to get those hostages,
don't care.
American hostages, all of them actually, but especially the Americans, than we're putting on Israel? This just doesn't make any sense at all. And this policy, which is on again, off again, is very disruptive, and it's really giving more rope to Hamas. And the last thing they need is some breathing room. They need to be suffocated and ended. There's no peace in that region until these terror groups funded by Iran are completely eliminated.
So why is Biden easing the sanctions on Hamas and Hezbollah, the bloodthirsty killers?
I have no idea. It makes no sense. It may be one of the dumbest policy decisions ever. Why would you ease up on people who are killed?
I can't believe that your answer to her question is you have no idea why. You don't know what Joe Biden is. You can't say your true feelings, because I'd say it. Because he's corrupt, vile, immoral, disgusting. That's it. He is all about chaos. He's an agent of chaos under Joe Biden in the last 4 years in the United States of America. And because when America is weak, the whole world goes up in hell. Nothing but chaos under Joe Biden. The border, inflation, economy, crime, world war around the entire world because of Joe Biden. He just laughs it off. No big deal. Nothing to see. Ha ha ha. I like cookies. I like ice cream. I'm going to go sit on the beach as America and the world go up in flames. But Huckabee here wants to pretend like he doesn't know why. He needs to be fired.
Killing civilians intentionally. Why would you ease up on people who are responsible for the massacre, and I mean the bloody massacre, of innocent civilian Jews on October the 7th, and somehow think that you can negotiate with these people? You can't. Even our own State Department labels them as a terrorist group, not a government. So why would we in any way pretend that they are going to be capable of sitting down at the table, having Kool-Aid with us, and somehow we'll all get along, toast some marshmallows, and sing Kumbaya? Ain't going to happen. They've got to be eliminated.
Mike Huckabee, I know you are the nominee for the U.S. ambassador to Israel at the United Nations. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time today, and we'll follow back with you when you've got that title.
I mean, that's kind of scary that Huckabee got that job. He can't even answer a question when Faulkner asks him, why would Joe Biden do that? I don't know why he would do it. You don't know? You really don't know why, Mike? You can't figure it out yet, what Joe Biden is and who he is? An agent of chaos, a communist, a traitor to America? I'm done. I'm annoyed. The point of the video is the president of Ukraine, who Biden gave trillions of dollars to, weapons, he's like, bye, Joe. Trump can handle this in about less than 24 hours. What else would you expect? That's what happens when adults take over.